up guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about, as you guys can see, was it a mistake me getting an F80 M3? Do I regret it? Before we get started, I want to talk to you guys or tell you guys about the car that I had before, in case you guys are new to the channel. So I used to have an F30 which had the basic bolt-ons and a stage 2 tune. It was making like 370 to the wheels on a hot day and 400 pounds of torque. The car was fun to drive. Obviously it wasn't the fastest thing out there, but it did okay for what it was. And also I don't really race like that, so I don't have a need for high horsepower numbers. Yes, it's fun, it's okay to have, like it's fun to have, but I really don't have the need for it. I had intentions of building that car in and out fully, like go crazy on the interior and do maybe an upgraded turbo, or eventually run the fuel mix on that car, and also do the exterior. I wanted to do a wide body at one point, do 3-piece wheels. And once I started looking into it, I realized how expensive it was going to get to do just the exterior mods. And obviously I've always wanted an M3, so at that point I was kind of like tossing the idea back and forth of, do I get it, should I try to get an M3? Because at that point I was looking at the 2015s, 2016s, and I was looking at it, I was like, well, if I'm gonna spend 8 grand on just the exterior, if I add that 8 grand to whatever like I can sell my car for, and then just kind of look into it like a 2015, 2016 M3, then it is kind of setting me at that point. And this was actually before the M3s kind of went up in price, or actually any used cars went up in price. So came March, and at that point that's when the Supra was also making its appearance. And I was set on getting a Supra because I wanted to build a different platform. I figured it'd be good for content, and that didn't really happen because I ended up signing for a house. I was unhappy at the place where I was at, and I wanted to get out of the apartment just because the garage was a hassle to get in and out. And you know, I was done with that place as soon as I could. So I ended up signing for a house, and it's probably the best decision that I made, because the house market has gone crazy. And obviously, you know, when you get a house, you build equity, the value of the house goes up. It's not like a car where it depreciates. So this is probably the best decision that I made at the right time. I'm glad I didn't wait till 2021, because that was the plans at first. I did want to get, like I told you guys, a car, but because I had signed the agreement to get the house, I couldn't make any big purchases, and the Supra was out of the question. I was like, well, maybe in the future, once I get the house and everything, then I'll look into it. So we didn't close on the house until the end of August, I believe. Yeah, it was the end of August. We didn't end up closing on the house. So by that point, 2 other people that I knew had already gotten a Supra, and I wasn't sure if I really wanted it anymore, just because it had been a few months already, and like all these people were already getting it. And then I was still considering it. I was tossing back and forth the idea of doing the wide body kit and stuff. And then I realized, well, and then eventually John ended up getting a Supra. So that definitely just kind of sealed the deal on me. Like, I'd rather just watch him build that Supra, because I don't have the time to put out content as much as he does, and he also has more connections than I do. So building the Supra, and probably has more funds on to build the Supra as well. So I was just like, I didn't feel like working behind him when it came to that. Pretty much I felt like whatever I did to the car was something that he had already done. And then we're kind of semi-local, so I figured it'd be nice to have like something different. So I went ahead and got an F80, or decided on the F80, because I was tossing up the idea of getting a Cayman, not a GT4, because the GT4 is a little bit out there. It's way, you know, more expensive than a regular Cayman. So, and a Cayman, it's something that I could build on, versus a GT4. Like, I feel like there's really not much you can do to those cars. That's one of those cars that you just buy to drive. Maybe just throw a nice set of wheels on it, and then maybe an exhaust, and then just little simple things here and there, but nothing too crazy. I decided to go with the F80 M3. There's really not many around my area, so it's rare for you to see one. So I was like, why not, you know, I ended up finding this locally, and I gotta say, when I first went to go test drive it, I was surprised on the car. Like, I thought it was gonna be very similar to the F30, but to me it just felt different. The handling feels different right off the bat, so it doesn't feel like the same car. I love that you can get into the car and the steering wheel is at sport mode, so you don't have to be in sport mode all the time in order to get stiffer steering. So you can do comfort, I think, what is it called, comfort? Oh, it's called efficient on the M car. So you can do efficient mode, sport, and sport plus. So sport plus makes it the stiffest, and I leave mine in sport for the most part, unless I'm in like M mode. I hate comfort. It's like super soft. It reminds me of the F30. So aside from that, like, I love leaving it in sport mode. So that's one thing that I really like about, you know, the difference between the M cars. You don't have to be in like sport mode, like power band wise, so you can just enjoy the stiffer steering all the time. I mean, there's really not much. I mean, I don't want to make this video like to where I'm comparing it. If that's something that you guys want me to do, I can make another video. But I do have to say that if you guys are considering it, because this is kind of what led me to making this video, if you guys are interested in getting an M3, I highly recommend that you go and take it for a test drive. I know these cars are not for everybody, and what the heck? So these cars are not for everybody, and I feel like you should actually take the time and go test drive one. And you got to be willing to accept the sound that these cars produce, because obviously they get bashed on because they sound way different than the N55 and the V58. Honestly, I used to hate them because I used to hear the M3s with, like, say, a catalyst downpipe, maybe no muffler, or just catalyst downpipe and a factory muffler, and it really doesn't sound all that great. It sounds very raspy, sounds very tin canish. But the thing is, like, I've noticed is that if you have the right exhaust setup, then it actually doesn't sound as bad as people make it seem like it. And I was one that used to hate on it, and I grew to enjoy this car. The exhaust that I got for this car has a very low deep tone. It's not crazy loud, but it has no rasp to it, so I really enjoy driving this car. And I just feel like a equal length mid pipe would probably make it a little bit louder and yet still keep the sound that I want out of this car. To me, it sounds like it has a little bit more like a Porsche sound, or I guess you can say like a straight six, like a NA car. These cars, I feel like they sound better without burble tunes, maybe just a little pop here and there, but I'm not a big fan of the burbles on these cars. I was going to be doing catalyst downpipe and do the resonated mid pipe, and that's something that I might do in the future, but right now I really don't have intentions of doing any performance mods besides maybe intake and charge pipes. Charge pipes are really not a performance, but just to kind of prevent anything from cracking. So no power mods planned, maybe stage one eventually. I really don't crave for any high horsepower numbers. Like I said, I don't really go out looking for races like that. So I'm more of a person who likes to enjoy the car for myself. I enjoy the aesthetics of it. So that's pretty much, you know, where I'm at with this car. So I don't regret getting it. I didn't get this car for views. I didn't get it to you know, just to try to build on my following. I just felt like this was something that I wanted to do for myself. It's a car that I've always wanted, so I felt like I was in the right spot to get it, and I went ahead and got it. And surprisingly, I was able, I ended up getting a 2018 because I was looking at a 2016, 2017, but these headlights, you know, they just pushed me to getting the 2018, and I don't regret it at all. So pretty happy with the purchase. Like I said, this car was for me, and I appreciate all you guys that are still following the channel. If you guys notice, the F30 content gets more views than F80. I guess just because it's more relatable. So eventually I'll end up getting a car that I want to work on that's a little bit more relatable. Also, I really want to get back into a Japanese car, so I'm set on getting a Japanese car next as a project. It doesn't have to be a new car. I just want something that's somewhat reliable, unless I have another daily. So I don't know what I want yet. I really do want a Japanese car, so that might come next year or maybe sooner if things work out, if I find the right one. But I don't know, we were gonna go for a drive, but I just figured that this is probably the best way to do it right now in case it starts raining, because I do have some other projects that I need to do at the house, and I wanted to take the time to make this video for you guys, because I've been telling you guys that I was gonna make it. Since I've had people message me asking me if it was worth it, because they're considering getting into a M3 or M4. So go drive one. It might be the car for you, might not be worth you spending the extra money to get the different aesthetics out of it, or more power. Just basically fully stock, this car is faster than a full bolt-on 335. I don't know about a B58, but stock for basic bolt-ons on a N55, this car is quicker. It handles better, so you can't go wrong there. So I think that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. I don't want to make it too long. And I'm outside the gym and just recording this, and I'm getting, like, surprisingly I get good compliments. So yeah, I think I made a right choice. I mean, I got compliments on the F30, but I feel like this car turns more heads, and it might be the color, who knows. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.